let's do this. We're 2 minutes past. I want to talk about open profiles, get some ideas, let you know what we've been doing for certain use cases. Mike, you sent me that email. You want to talk about that before we get started?
I have the screen up here.
Yeah. Okay. Let me make you co-host. And so, Mike, why don't you give everyone an overview of what was going on, and then share your screen and read the reply that you received. So,
so we use a lot of Boolean in what we do. I mean, just massive Boolean, page long or stuff. And we use lots of Boolean that is negated. So it's or job titles, and then we go / to exclude them. Okay, you with me? It's not just what we want; it's more what we don't want to exclude. And this is, so here, let me stop just for a moment and paint the picture. I'm doing these big searches, and they're crashing. It just, it's us. Remember that? The problem's us. Yeah, it is you. That's right. Thank you. What are you going to do about it? So I have my big Boolean in, and I'm adding in more industries. Boom, boom, boom. And I add one more industry, and it goes crash. I'm adding industries. I'm not adding, the Boolean's already in there. Okay. The Boolean's already in there. So I get this back, and I'll read it. Our engineers reviewed this information and the search that you provided and confirmed this issue is due to the amount of OR operands that you're using in your Boolean search. Even though you're adding non-Boolean filters, the system is still having to take into account the Boolean strings with each additional filter you add. Therefore, we recommend to shorten your Boolean OR strings to 10 or less to avoid experiencing these types of issues. I know this is not something that you've had to do previously, but as mentioned, we've recently made some changes to the keyword search to better optimize results, which is why you're now experiencing this. We apologize for any inconvenience or frustration this has caused, and your feedback will be noted. If there's anything else we can assist you with, please don't hesitate to let us know.
Okay, Mike, I have a question for you. So it was only crashing when you added more filters outside. So, okay, sorry, let me back up. You're using
I could make it crash just by adding more checkbox features.
Right.
I could make it
the crash. ORs, Mike, the ORs that you're using, is that within the title?
The ORs are within the title. I recorded the video, the video of it.
Yeah, just for everyone here. So the ORs are added in the title, and it's not crashing until you add additional filters outside of the ORs in the title. So like adding,
I could make it crash by adding one incremental feature, whether it was 11 to 50 for title for size. Yep. In this case, I was adding one more industry. Here's another one that came from it. Engineering has confirmed 10 or more, just rewriting changes. I mean, it's just this total bullshit stuff that they're saying here.
Actually, can you read this one as well? Because
all right. Engineering has confirmed that an enhancement was made to Boolean and keyword search strings to optimize performance and ensure quality results. Keyword strings of 10 or more OR operands are subject to query rewriting. Our system rewrites the query for performance optimization and accuracy in order to target results and optimize performance. The rewriting changes the keyword values to alternate facets with higher confidence thresholds. To avoid this situation, users can refrain from using long keyword OR strings of this sort, less than 10 values, and by using other facets. Please note that users with searches who don't meet these criteria can experience issues with their search. We're sorry, it doesn't work.
So I see two really big takeaways in that email, Mike. Number one is if you're using more than 10, they're rewriting your Boolean. That's huge. It's like when Google Ads switched to the exact match, right? To be like, well, we think we know what you're doing, so we're going to fudge it a little bit for higher confidence. So they'll rewrite it if it's too long. And then if you get too complex, it breaks.
It probably means that what I take from that is that they're just prioritizing it for you. So they're saying like, well,
I
they'll probably take the first 10.
shortened up Yeah, yeah. They're. I don't know. I took the searches that were crashing for him, and took that search and pasted them into other clients, and it worked for everybody else. Didn't work for him.
So the guy said in the email that they're making those changes now, so it's probably just going to happen slowly for everyone.
Yeah. So I've taken to shortening up the Boolean for us here. So let me show you what I mean by that. I'm shortening up the Boolean into 9-person deals here.
Yeah.
And I'll show you light 2. Here we go. So so breaking it up into 8 and 8 and 8 and 8. You can put multiple blue bubbles in. It just said 9 per. It didn't say how many versions, how many 9s you could put in. Did it? So I've been trying this, and I got it to work by putting in smaller. So our clients look at these sort of groupings of titles, and then I came down, and here we are. I took the most popular ones and put them into groupings of 8, put them into the search and circle slashed them, and I was able to make it work. So what you're saying, Isaac, grouping them into 9s.
Yeah.
But you can have multiple 9s. Do you know what I mean by multiple 9s?
Up to 20 groups.
You can put up to 20 in?
Yeah. 20 include, 20 include. So the blue bubble, 20, the red bubble exclude 20. That's what it has
good.
been.
There's a number.
Yeah.
So well under it here. So that's been the workaround for me there.
Wow.
For him, but no one else has had this problem. But I think we can see something brewing here.
Yeah.
One other workaround, Isaac, is you can just pick the titles right from the drop down. But you said there's only 20 you can do?
20 of the blues. Yeah. So it makes sense to use Boolean in the titles with groups instead of just doing one at a time if you're gonna do more than 20.
So if you're thinking 20 times 9, that's about how many you can get into it, right?
Right. Well, and then I've experienced as well doing that, breaking search in the past period, just because I think the URL gets too long. So sometimes when we make the URL too long, this is like in years even ago, even in the past, it gets too long and it crashes.
I've had the URLs go 2 full printed pages of text.
Yeah.
So much excluding. So the strategy now is a lot of the excluded words and stuff come from industries we're not targeting anymore. I only use excluded words for the specific industries we're targeting. So I don't have to go like not developer, not code writer when I'm not searching software. But in the software, so every industry category has certain excluded words that you need to put in your knots, essentially.
Yeah.
That's enough there, but that was really disturbing, and it took a week. It had to go to their extra engineering group. It didn't get handled at tier 1. It went to the tier 2.
So if I'd be curious too. So definitely you experienced that it broke, right? So that's one thing. I'm wondering in that second email that you read, the first one that they sent.
I read them out of order. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. That they said that they what is the language that they use? Like they mess with your text input, right?
Yeah, they rewrote it. It's like, how do you rewrite an OR command? I mean, it's just OR.
Well, that just makes me a little bit nervous. Like, I don't want them to kind of guess. I'm being very intentional about my titles. So I'll probably move towards everything that we're saving, in spreadsheets and then save searches. We'll probably move towards breaking it into chunks of 9 or 10, because I don't want them rewriting anything. Like I was very specific about the quotation marks and the ORs. So for everyone here,
I'm not going to take a chance on whether it's 10 or more up to 10. I'm not doing 10.
Yeah.
I'm calling it 9s. So anyway,
I wonder if this is related to a couple weeks ago, we had someone who said that the URLs for searches in regular LinkedIn no longer had the variables, which I found that to be true for me as well. I wonder if they're going to be making that same change in Sales Navigator, and by having that long of a URL, they're not able to do whatever they need to do to remove the variables from the URL, which that would really suck.
Wait, Crystal, did you say that in normal LinkedIn, on the desktop,
Yep.
you can't like go to page 2 or 3 or switch stuff out in the URL. It builds it.
You don't even see any of the variables in the search results on regular LinkedIn. It just
That
says
is
current search. Then you brought that up because someone emailed you and asked about not being able to save the search URLs. And that's why, because they don't put the variables in the regular LinkedIn search URLs anymore. So that's why you can't save them and go back to them.
is that happening right now on your account?
Yeah, I'd have to create a search, but
Would you want to do that now, or do
Yeah.
you not want to share your
I'd
screen?
really like to see that. Yeah.
hold on, let me get some.
Here, you are now co-host.
Okay.
So the reason why I want to press this is it has a lot of implications. I mean, if you're doing any kind of market research, you got to save a URL. I don't want to rebuild it every time.
Right. No,
right?
because when you brought that up, I'm like, okay, I got to go check this out and how is it working? And that's when I noticed the URL. So let me go. Okay, I'm here. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
I had mapped out every single variable that there was in Sales Navigator up till about 2 years ago. Every variable where it says, industry equals 6, all that.
So everyone, we're looking at the very top.
Right. Well, I haven't gotten there yet. Let me go ahead and put some search variables in to see if I can recreate what I saw. I haven't checked it recently, but I'm just gonna.
And let me pipe in here real quick while she's doing that. That also, these issues might go back to the search engine that LinkedIn and Sales Navigator is using, which is probably Bing. And in the past, back when it used to be Live and then MSN and now Bing, there was 175 character limit to Boolean searches. So I don't know what it is now, and if, but it might be worth looking into,
Okay, let's see here. Let's see if it does it. Let me hide the meeting controls.
Okay, so it looks like at least that's still there.
But actually, now it's showing up. Before it ended at faceted search. I wonder if they've been playing around with it. It just ended at faceted search, and this was not here. So it could be something they're playing around with. But there was a time about a week or so ago, whenever that came up, I was in here and it did not have, it went to search results and then it just said faceted search and it gave the search a number, like it saved your search variables as a number that they went back, that they used. And I could not, let me see here. Let me see if I go to the next page.
Do you guys know how to save this search without Sales Nav? To add a keyword, Crystal.
Into a Google Doc.
Yeah. Oh, the search alerts, they suck. I don't bother.
They totally suck.
What I use, I'll just put in order to turn up the prompt to create the search alerts. But I find a lot of times they don't. Oh, it's not even. It's not showing.
Did they ditch it? Did they remove?
It's not there.
Oh, that's fascinating. So for everybody who's like, what? In the past, if you add a keyword to your search, you had the option to save the search in normal LinkedIn.
As
you couldn't
search
find
alert,
it.
not a saved search. It didn't always run if you clicked on it.
Right. So it would save your built search and it would let you know when there's new people added. But you can only do it if you add a keyword, which seems silly because it's so broad that whoever does that.
Yeah,
it looks like it's gone.
Not popping. It's not popping up.
Shocking.
Yep. But now I promise you, I swear, I swear to God that all of these variables were gone for a while. So it may be something in testing, but my variables were gone. And I did that actually. I copied the URL, opened up another tab and hit paste. And I got one of those broken screens. I forget exactly which of the broken screens, but one of the it's not working screens. So it would not run the search when I copied the URL at that point. So this might be in flux at this point, but just to be on the lookout, because that scared me. Maybe they weren't able to make it work consistently, and so they went back. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely something to keep your eyes peeled for. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that they took away the The search alerts. That's really
Well, they
interesting.
didn't work anyways, and nobody used them because they didn't even know that they were there half the time. But no, but I can say actually the entire URL for the search results, you could see the end of it. So that's
Wow.
one way to, you could see the end of it. It just said faceted search at the end of it, and there was no keyword, no filters or anything before it, so just keep an eye out then. That's something they must be testing, but I did see it.
Yeah. Are there any engineers in here, like software architects? I'm kind of curious if they go the route of like all the big tech companies move to GraphQL, right? And I wonder if they move to graph database, if they won't need to do the the query in the URL. Anybody know that? Is that anybody's wheelhouse? It's so not mine. Okay.
I say that is so beyond mine.
Hey,
Okay.
Crystal, you say if you take the URL that just says facet search equals 1, save it to a Google Doc, and from there click it and run it again, will it not run?
Well, right now, the version before, when it did not have any of the variables, not one of the variables was in that URL. I didn't bother saving it to a Google Sheet. I just copied it. I opened up a new tab. I even opened up a new browser account because I have more than one Chrome accounts, and pasted it in there, and it did not run at all. It showed nothing, that there was an error, because there was nothing programmed into the URL for it to run the search.
Well, I mean, that was a different account, but with the same account.
No, it was the same account, just a different browser. But yeah, even being logged into my own account, taking that URL, just opening up a clean tab, pasting it in the tab, hitting enter to run it, it would not run the same search that was already existing in another tab in the same open browser.
So that URL is a results URL, not a query URL or something of that effect.
Yeah. So like I said, right now it's gone. I'll keep an eye out, because I do use regular LinkedIn search for small little things a lot throughout the day. I'll try to keep an eye on it now, but I did go through and test it when that one person messaged you, Isaac, and said, why can't save search results anymore? And I went in, and that's when I saw that. So he was probably experiencing the same thing. But right now it looks like it's reverted. Whether or not, of course, we know just because it reverts doesn't mean it's not going to go back to what it was.
So
but
stay
I did
tuned.
see that. I did see that. And if they do that with Sales Navigator, wow, that'll be a pain, because I prefer to, I'll build a lot of my searches in my own account just to prevent having to go into my client's account and then take that URL and transfer them in. And that's just going to be a pain in the ass to have to do that directly in every single account, or even just, testing and playing around with, okay, what's it looking for? Yeah. Because I try to stay out of the client's account if I can, but so that was what I saw. So everyone keep an eye out for that one.
Good to know. Hey, speaking of, remember last week, Lamar, who was really frustrated that his account was removed? He got it back.
What did he do?
Well, I'm still waiting to hear. I messaged him this morning. So
get him back on the show.
What happened was, here, let me pull up his message. This is actually great, because you all were part of changing his life for the better, actually, because he was freaking out. So what happened was, I did a contact sync for everyone that has opted into my email, right? So I did the contact sync to connect with everybody that's in my email, and I saw Lamar Morgan on there, and I was like, that's a profile that's Lamar's profile. And I checked it out, and it had 30,000 connections and tons of followers. And I was like, that's the same guy. So I sent him the invite, and then I said, looks like you have your account back, ? And he said, yes, I do. And had I not visited your YouTube channel and been on your Zoom call, I would no doubt still be without a LinkedIn account. So thanks for your help. Really appreciate it. So that's for everybody. He's, shocking. I think that he went to Twitter support. So he sent a FedEx letter to C-suite. I don't know if that did it. Probably not. Probably Twitter support took care of him. So there you go.
By the way, Lamar and I have known each other for, as long as Mike and I have known each other.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he goes back to Rise days.
Wow. Did you talk to him then after this whole thing?
I did not. No.
Okay.
I hadn't, but I didn't even click until later that was who it was. So. But.
That's funny. That's right, because he's in Austin. I remember seeing that. That's funny. All right, so he's back up and rolling. Thought that was pretty cool. I'm gonna give just like maybe 5 more minutes before we jump into the main topic. Anybody have any other challenges, advice from the group, stories, things you've learned to share? Cricket. All right, then we're gonna go right into the main event. So here, let me do this. I will share my screen. And then Monty, if you could do the cool intro music. Okay, never mind. So here is
that was way cooler music than I have. So well done.
Yeah. Well, you can do, there's gotta be a word for it, but it's like a muted trumpet with your mouth. It's like, anyway, whatever. Should I edit that out? Nah, we'll just keep it in there. Okay, so here is the deal. Sometimes we'll do onboarding with a big client and they're not 100% sure on targeting. Like sometimes I'm like, man, how did you make it this far without knowing that? Or sometimes they're wanting to take a new product and go to market and they're just not 100% sure which maybe department they should talk to. And so going down that trail, if it's a smaller company, I don't really want to work with them, but if they're like small to mid and they still don't know, this is the case as well. So in all of those scenarios, you need to do some testing of your market. Like who's going to nibble? What are their responses going to be? What are their objections going to be? Is this an audience worth pursuing? You just got to test it. You need to do that research and discovery. And now with the like 100, 130, 150, whatever it shakes out to be invites per month, there's just not a fast way to do that, right? I mean, if you send out, even if the audience is really active, 100 invites a week, if you want to go to market, like and scale something up, that just can suck. InMail, you get 20 per month on sales nav, right? And if they reply, you get a credit refund, but still 20 in a month is nothing. And so if you're finding yourself in the scenario where you need to test an audience, invites is just kind of out the door, InMail is kind of out the door, but you can do open profiles. I started doing this with a test with a client last week because they're a big company. Their owner used to be like a VP at a household name that I can't talk about, lots of connections. And they're like, man, it's going to be one of these like 4 or 5 people groups that buy what we sell. We're not sure because we're a big company, but we're still pretty new. We just don't have enough data points. And so we went our normal process. You know, we did this audience, and you can only do 100 a week. So I don't want to like do them all at once. And it's like 3 invites a day. It's gonna take forever to get the info that we need. And then I realized, crap, the audience size that we're working with, this is not the actual one, this is from something else. I was like, the audience size that we're working with is huge. It's like 20,000 people. A lot of them have paid accounts, which means a lot of them have open profile. So if we are wanting to get a lot of immediate feedback from a target audience, we can grab all the open profiles and send them all in InMail. And so we've been sending 100 InMails per day. So we like achieved in a day what would take like a week and a half, because the InMail gets emailed to the recipient unless they've opted out, which is buried in their account settings. So I find that
is the text showing in the email?
What the text goes in the email, yeah.
The text shows freely in the email now, still, right?
Yeah, it's like
not at one time, remember?
You're crossing over. Yeah, that's right. So what Mike's talking about is if in the past, if you use a sales nav inbox, just normal messaging, not an email, the message would go along with your InMail. It would get emailed. And that's been broken since like November, which is why we ditched sales nav inbox. But the InMail is still working. Yes, Mike. Good question. Yeah, so InMail's still working. So if you find yourself in that scenario where, I mean, I guess you just have a huge audience and there's enough people to talk to where you can just straight up do free InMails and it's enough. That's great. you can do that. Or if you're needing to do like hot and fast market research. So the big question is, how do you get the list of open profiles? Because it's not baked into search, right? And I think the only way to do that is to scrape sales nav, I hate to say. So like, let's see, Bethany, so this is open, right? So you can send her an InMail for free. It's not going to take a credit if you're not familiar with open profile. If I go to view her profile in normal LinkedIn, I don't think it says open profile anywhere on here, right? So I think that you have to originate your list in Sales Nav. And I'm pretty sure that you have to scrape it in Sales Nav. So there are a ton of tools that will scrape Sales Nav and tell you if it's open profile or not. So that's just go use your favorite, whatever. But that's what we've been doing. Any ideas on how you could take that to the next level?
The main tool that I use, Isaac, that I won't say here, can't say the name of it, added support for open profiles just right here. So I can dump a search in, and it'll just go through and ditch the folks that don't have open profiles and send a message up to 100 and then wait tomorrow, send 100, wait to tomorrow, send 100. It added support for that. I was just checking it out while we talked here. I've not tested it, and I'm skeptical of version 1, but I'm talking about automation, being able to do that and filter through the who's in and who's out.
Yeah, well, yeah, open profile is not baked into search for obvious reasons. They don't want people who have open profile to just get inundated with garbage messages. So use wisely. But man, I'm just like, if we didn't know which audience to pursue, I don't want to drag it on for a client. I want to get it done now so that we can crank up what works. So yesterday we onboarded a client, and we're doing 4 audiences, and we're sending like 50 InMail per day for each audience. And within like 3 days, we're going to know, I know the more data, the better, but within 3 days, we're getting so many more responses than we would sending an invite message and a message.
And these come in the main inbox, right? These come in the main inbox with everything else, as opposed to like group messages that go into that message request inbox.
Yeah, they go into the main inbox for the recipient, and it gets emails to them. So you have to word what you're saying. Like, you have to have the audience needs to be on point. Your message needs to be on point. You have to have etiquette and all those things to get a response to actually measure if it's an audience. That's just normal. But for speed, it's a fantastic way to do it.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's been a significant increase of InMails on my account lately, and I think a lot of people are catching on to this. This is the workaround to the 100. That's becoming pretty well known, because you can send InMails depending on your account, how many you have, but I'm getting a lot of InMails that are just hi. How are you?
Really?
Yeah, because what they're going for is, if the way InMail works is if you get any reply whatsoever, now you're open to be able to freely communicate with them.
Right.
So, even if you're putting something snarky back, now they get to communicate with you. Whereas if you don't respond at all, they lose the credit. Yep. So, if you get any of that stuff, and it's just, what you just said, all the dust stuff, you got to use those InMails really wisely, because I think people are going to start getting sick of getting InMails, just like they're sick of getting spam messages.
Yep.
I personally, I hate when I get someone pitching me with the free InMail that I pay for. But I do know that one of the lower cost, what I consider to be spammy services out there, has added in doing 100 of these open profile messages into their packages to make up for the lack of number invites that they can send.
Yeah.
Well, that spammy tool might be one of the spammy tools I use, Crystal.
Well, not the tool, the service. I don't know what tool they use, but they.
Okay. They might be using a.
There's someone who kind of rides the coattails of my brand.
The main tool that we use added support for sending group member messages and sending these open link messages as alternatives to the 100. Although frankly, I only have a couple of clients that are stuck at 100 anymore. I mean, most of them are, 150 or so.
Oh, really? I haven't been hearing that. So the limit's increasing?
Yeah.
Actually, can we switch gears and talk about that in just a second? I'll stop sharing my screen. I want to kind of wrap up here on this one point. When we're doing the InMail, I feel like there's a difference between like if you go down the route of InMail, it's like not social selling, right? If you're wanting to play the long game, earn the trust of a bunch of people, brand awareness, you need to go the route to invite, connect, have a dialogue, and do that at scale. With InMail, you're not connected. You can't invite them to an event. You can't do all kinds of things since you're not connected. So it's just, it feels more appropriate for it to be a work discussion. So it's like, hey, can we have a quick discussion about what you're doing at work? I guess you could go the relational route with InMail, but then it's like you have to connect anyways. I don't know. So just for what it's worth. I feel like InMail's less.
In connecting, please send me an invite. You can ask to be invited.
Yeah, we did have someone convert sales funnel. They liked what we were saying on InMail, and they said, "Hey, will you send me a connection request?" So,
if you want to get about a 99% response rate on InMail, point out something that they can change on their profile. Something quick. Yeah. Something quick. They'll always respond.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, it proves that it's 100% not a template message, and people are going to respond to that. I think anytime you do an InMail or something like that, you do make it, if you really want to get a high acceptance rate, you've got to make it 100% personal and people can see that it's just to them. There's at least some component to it, and they'll respond to that. But that's going to take a lot of time too to customize each and every single one of them. You can't automate that.
Yeah, but there's sometimes that you can find out certain things that, like a tip, like recommendations, most recommendations are out of date. Mm-hmm. And that you can somewhat automate because almost everybody's recommendations are out of date. But yeah, I mean, if you only have 100 of them, it's not too difficult.
Yeah, another little trick there that you can do is you can use Grammarly and check their page and find typos and find typos and grammatical errors and stuff. And
so, is there a limit to in sending messages to open network people that you can only send 100 per day? Is that like a hard and fast, or is that just a best practice you're using?
I think it's just people taking a number and choosing it, thinking it's probably within reason. Number. We sent on one person's account, we sent 200 InMail in one day just this week. And then what happens with that as well is they get the message goes to their inbox, they receive an email, and then they receive a reminder email several days later.
So the 100 is just arbitrary. That's not an actual hardcore number that you said?
Yeah, for sure. You can definitely send more than 100.
I'll just put a
I don't know what you should and shouldn't do, but 100 is just someone picking a number to try and play it safe.
Mm-hmm. Can I jump in real quick? I just wanted to, based on what Monty was talking about, I mean, I happen to have a very energetic, whip smart VA working with me right now. And I mean, I'm not playing the big numbers game that we're talking about here. I have a much more limited outreach, but it's a very, very targeted. I mean, we actually go into the profiles, and I think, Monty, what you were talking about is give them an easy win, right? Something that's actionable that clearly shows that you've taken a look, a second on their profile, and we do something similar. So we go in, we capture something that's unique. Now, you obviously cannot do that with 100, 200 every day, but here's what I will say. It's a much more limited group. We are getting a conversion. I mean, an acceptance rate of busy attorneys within an hour, almost 100%. Then nice. they return a message, at 80 to 90%. They're so damn flattered that we've taken a look at their profile and actually pulled out something that's unique about it. We're getting a huge conversion. So there's my not so secret sauce, right? It's actually, now, obviously, granted, we can't do that for 200, even a week.
Yeah.
So it's not a numbers game, but the conversion is huge. And those are relationships we're going to have longevity and sustainability with. They love that. So that's,
are you complimenting them on their profile or suggesting an improvement?
So we're not suggesting an improvement, but we are capturing something that is very unique about either their posts or something in their profile. The next step, the next second or third step in that sort of nurture cycle, which obviously takes a little bit more time and hands-on, is a suggested improvement for sure. Just like what you were talking about, Monty, was sort of an easy win. And that builds so much trust because like we've all been saying, everybody's fed up with all the automations and the bots that are sending, whether it be InMail or regular, whatever.
Yeah. Vivica, is that with an invite with those numbers? Or is
no,
that
it's
InMail?
not. It's not.
It's with InMail?
It's not with no, sorry, it's not with InMail. No, it's just, yeah.
Cool.
So what
what
message are you using? What message platform? If they're not connections already and you're not using an InMail, how are you messaging them?
Manually, one by one.
Through LinkedIn, though.
Oh yeah, through LinkedIn, right?
But they're not connections, and you're not using InMail.
Right.
So which
she's sending an invite message.
I'm just saying an invite message,
oh,
not through InMail.
Okay, so
yeah. Sorry, invite. Yeah, sorry, invite, not
okay.
InMail. I thought you were saying InMail. Yeah.
Okay, so you're using though your invite quota at this point.
Yeah.
Around the invite quota.
Yeah.
So for everyone here, my takeaway is this: if for everyone here, if you're an agency and you're working with a client and they're not 100% settled on who their audience is that they should target, and you're as a provider going, where should we put all of our eggs? Where should we want to do a great job, like Viveka was saying, we want to do a killer job on invites, and we want to make sure that those are the right people that are going to buy from us, right? So you could use open profiles, get as many people talking as possible, but use open profiles as a shortcut to have more conversations in less time so that you can then choose your audience, pivot to quality engagement via invites and long-term social selling. I think that's probably what we'll do when a client's not 100% sure on audience. Otherwise you could lose them, right? You don't get results after a month or two because you don't know who to target. You could lose your client, and that would just suck because it's not even your fault. It's just they have to pay for R&D, so you can do it faster this way. You want to talk about the invite limit switch, Mike? Is it? I interrupted you about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
ago.
I have here. I can point to. Let me put a file in the chat window. Okay, I'm gonna upload a file.
Yeah, a pattern while you're grabbing that, Mike, a pattern that we've noticed is an account receives the limit, and the week it happens, they get 100, almost flat. And then after that, you can send more. And I don't know exactly what's going on under the hood, but we've had clients that hit the 100 a week limit, and then now they're sending, some of them get the notification at 130, some at 160.
Yes, that's what I'm getting. Yes. I don't need to, but I have a screenshot of well, I got windows everywhere here. Let me come back. A screenshot that just shows how many there. I get a daily report that shows of our clients, how many were sent, how many daily, weekly, monthly and stuff. And I've only got a few that are stuck at 100, and it may be that we're only sending that many. So I'm going to add a couple more hours of sending to their schedule and see if they're too aren't going past it. I'm adding 5 a day to every client every week. I'm upping them by 5 a day, 25 a week to see how far we can go, to see where it goes. Yeah. I got one at 170 or something, and that's the max.
Yep. Yeah, 130 to 160 seems to be the window that we operate it within before we get the limit.
Yeah, I mean, at one time it was kind of nice to know what the limit was, so you could just plan. I mean, you got to end of the road. You can kind of allocate and stuff, and
yep.
So
You guys noticed any pattern in acceptance rate for those that get more than 100? Are they getting higher acceptances or not getting higher acceptances?
It seems to be correlated, but I don't have a for sure like number match to say it's the same. Yeah. Anybody else have any data points on that? The last I checked, Crystal, I checked 2 weeks ago on several accounts, and it was like a 2 or 3 person difference.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we're getting higher connect rates because we're being more specific. I'm jettisoning any third level connections in general, or if I have to use 3s, anyone without a picture is gone. We're just using a lot more criteria. So I think the connect rate goes up just because you're weeding out people that might not ever logged in and seen it in the first place.
After we did the data analysis on those 1,200 people that had converted to Sales Funnel from all our clients in all the industries, we took that and applied with targeting moving forward. So same thing, no profile, not going to send them an invite. Not active, not going to send them an invite. I just feel like that it's important. If you have that luxury,
every connection request has to have a decent chance of being accepted. That's the way I word it. A decent chance. And if they're never going to see it, that's not a decent chance. If they're third level connection without a picture, in our case, maybe that's not a decent chance. But that's kind of it. Yeah. If it doesn't have a chance at all, you're just hoping you can onesie twosie that. But I can't get the well, here, hold on. I can upload the file here in the background here. Keep talking. I'll be able to upload my screenshot here. I just have to get a URL to it.
No, that was about it. So I know some folks, they, because of what they do or where they live, they just have a smaller initial audience, and you just can't be too picky. But if you can be picky, we ditch no headshots. We ditch them. And if they're not active, we're going to put them to the back of the queue. All right. Mike, you still looking?
Yeah, I mean, it's a screenshot that's in Dropbox, and I'm trying to get to the link. I can't drop something into the chat window. I can share my screen. Let me share my screen.
This is the perfect time for the.
Here it is. So this is the weekly sending numbers for our clients as of this last week. 196 was my top one.
Mm-hmm.
So these one, I've got a couple of 102. I'm going to push him out higher, and some of these zeros, they're just paused for the moment.
It's definitely, the thing that gets me is it's definitely variable. I see the only firm number I see hit that's consistent is the 100, and then it becomes variable to where it's somewhere between like 130, 160 is what we typically see, but it's never like the same for everyone. So there's got to be a variable that they're looking at. I don't know what the variable is for sure, but there's got to be something they're looking at. Yep.
So that's, where was it? Back here. I just got things on top of things on top of things, but you saw that here, there it is. So I'm going to be pumping these numbers up next week. I'm expecting to add 5 or 10 to each of these. So I can find out what the limit is.
Yep.
And do you want to be right at the limit, or do you think you go to the do you go to the limit?
Well, honestly, Mike, my goal is send as few invites as possible, get as many leads as possible, so that your clients are as happy as possible, while your company is using as few resources as possible, so that you're as profitable as possible. So
they're a win-win-win.
Yeah, for sure. We have one client where it's just a home run with their offer, and we only send 10 invites a day, and they're I'll say this, they couldn't handle more. So
yeah, I was just going to say, from my perspective in the B2B space, if you drop 10, 15 clients or, connections immediately in somebody's lap, they don't know what to do with them anyway. And they can't, there's more potential that you're going to overload them with those connections than not. So being more targeted and focused and helping them actually win with an offer is much more important than hundreds of connections a day that they're going to get.
That's a really good point. I had a bunch of zeros on there, and you saw that those folks are too busy right now. They had to pause. So slowing some of these folks down so that they don't go to zero and pause, is kind of that principle. And I buy off on that.
And then, I mean, agency wise, I like the kind of slow, consistent burn so that clients aren't like, oh my gosh, I'm so busy. And then there's crickets. And then, oh, I'm so busy. And then crickets. It's just not good for them, So
there's inherently an unpredictable sort of thing in business, though. This week we had 4 leads, and last week we had 0 or something.
True. Yeah,
it's not always predictable how much rain is going to come.
Hey, I have a question on that. So Memorial Week, across the board, all of our clients slowed way down in engagement. Did anybody else have that happen to them? No. Just us. Okay. Well, that's good to know that I just suck. Cool. Okay, cool. All right. We're coming up on the hour. Any final things before we close it out?
Oh, I had someone offer me Sales Navigator for $15. I've got his link to me. He goes, I get you Sales Navigator for $15. No shit.
Did he enterprise in another company or another country?
Someone else I know got that offer. I was there. There's no way.
How? I'm interested. I'm at the end of my 60 days.
Hey, who gave you that 60 days, Rusty?
Here, I can find it.
Did he give you a link, or did he just suggest that he could do that? Because that could be.
Yeah, Vivica says I'd be suspicious for $15.
Oh, I am. I didn't. I just kind of kept it here for fun. I thought I'm gonna want to show this to somebody.
Don't worry. All we'll need is your account logins, your social security, drop of blood, lock of hair.
Or it's something like it's not actually your account. They set up a new account and do the 30 days for free, and they charge you $15 for it or something. I don't know.
Well, they're charging 300 and then telling you that supposedly the service is that, and the subscription with Sales Navigator is 15. Cross-selling there, fakely.
I don't know.
Interesting. Does anybody know if
he listed or what company they were with?
No. Does anybody know if the cost? Does anybody know if the cost of Sales Nav changes per country? Not relative to the dollar, but the actual cost.
So here in the UK, 75 pounds.
Yeah, that's about the same. I think here it's like $85 for Pro, Sales Nav Pro.
Yeah.
$79.99, I believe.
Yeah, so that tracks with the UK. I was just curious if someone from another country, if they give them a lower price point, if they could do it like that. Just curious. All right, well, if that's if nobody has anything else to add or questions, I'm going to wrap it up. That it. Here, really quick. I know Mary has her big show happening. Does anybody else have anything happening that we can help each other with, as far as like events and stuff?
On Friday for insurance people. It's on content, how to promote content, how to find it, make it, promote it across all the different options and stuff.
Nice.
It's an insurance group, but technically anybody could come.
Drop it if you have it. Drop it in the chat. Yeah. So here, let's go one at a time.
Link for it. Yeah.
Mike, I have a couple clients in that industry, so I'm in clients where we do some work, but they don't do the content part. I'd love to direct them towards you.
All right. Oh, sure. I don't generally work in this industry much. I primarily work in technology, but these folks in insurance seem to really like me for some reason.
Well, I will say I am one of the lead specialists for financial services. Securities licensed people have significant restrictions, and some of those insurance people also have securities licenses. I've been a financial planner, and I wrote the first book for financial advisors back in 2012. So if anyone gets that target market, especially securities license, believe me, you can get them in trouble if you don't know what you're what you're doing.
Right.
And you can end up beating your head against the wall when you hear what the issues are you're going to have to deal with. So that is my primary specialty market, although I work with a lot
Could
of
we
other-
talk before Friday? I mean, you and I, do you have a calendar link on your profile or something, or?
Me, Mike? Or are you talking to Mary?
No, I'm talking to you, Crystal.
Oh, me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I think in the contact, I might have my calendar link sitting there. If not, just shoot me a message in LinkedIn and I'll send it to you.
Here, I'm putting mine right in the chat window there.
Okay.
Mike, when is this this Zoom?
Noon Central on Friday.
Okay, thanks.
Who else did I see hands go up? Vivica, did I see a hand go up?
Yeah, I have LinkedIn Live today at noon Pacific Standard Time with the founder and director of the Dream Factory community. And so she works with pretty high level executives and agencies as well. So supposedly this month of June was supposed to be Tech Talk. And so I'm not sure how I'm couching it exactly yet, but it's not so techy, but I'll figure it out.
Cool. That's awesome. Do you have a link you could toss in there? Or is it going to be?
Yeah, it's just gonna be my
streams to your
profile activity,
profile?
and it streams, and sometimes the banner goes Harry Potter on me, and sometimes it doesn't. Who knows?
Okay.
Why is that?
I don't
And
know.
it tries now with creator mode, because remember, Vivica, you let me know, and Bez, you were on. Like, did it go
Yeah.
live on my profile? Because I can't
It
see
did.
it. So
It did, Mary.
on my profile, though, on my
Yeah.
laptop that I have up, I was like checking it, and it didn't show that I was live in my background banner.
Yeah,
So
it did go live. I'm pretty
Crystal,
sure
I feel like I'm like, don't touch me
I know.
when you're typing. Mary, do you want to tell everybody about your event that's going on soon too?
my big event that you're part of.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a big deal. You're putting a ton. If you guys don't know, Mary's putting a significant amount of resources in here.
I'm putting on, it's called LinkedIn Remastered. It's a interview series with some top LinkedIn people, branding people, copywriting people. Mike, I think I'm going to reach out to you and talk to you about something. And Isaac, we're doing our interview tomorrow. So it's a free masterclass series for 1 week, getting people pumped up to love LinkedIn. And Isaac and I are recording his interview tomorrow. They're 20 to 30 minutes. But the best part about this, guys, is that it's free. And then there's a VIP kit that people can buy to have all the recordings, but we're donating the proceeds to a local nonprofit called Benavia that supports seniors who have been isolated more than ever now. And they provide amazing services. I interviewed 3 different nonprofits here in Arizona. So I love to give. So the event, it's August 1st through August 6th, every day, 2 to 3 video series will drop, and it's all free. But of course, you guys, business owner to business owner, I want to raise money for the nonprofit and then funnel people into my new group program. So I would love your guys' support, ideas, thoughts, creating the landing page, the thank you page, all the copy. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
And best way to register, or can I get, is it an event?
So it's an event, and there will be a landing page. Okay. And that all of that will be going out July 8th as promo day. I'll be blasting it on all social media. So Bez, I know you're like one of my biggest fans. You help out Vivica. If anyone can share it out there. I've got Mark Williams. Do you guys know him from England?
Yes.
He's going to be on the show. I got him.
Oh, cool.
Good job.
Okay. I've got Isaac, I've got AJ Wilcox, Beth Granger, and then I've got a copywriting, a branding person, a salesperson, and StreamYard and Wave Video are sponsoring it we're giving away a lot of prizes too. So if anyone has, if they just want to donate to the nonprofit, you can do that. If you want to buy it for someone else, if you want to help promote it, if there's something that you want to donate as a raffle prize to get that FOMO going. We're also doing a FOMO interview with a famous May King. I think that's July 12th. So she's interviewing. Unfortunately, Isaac is not available. You were my top choice.
Sorry.
But that's okay. It's okay. I appreciate your time. So I'm super excited. Nervous as heck as well.
You'll do great.
That is awesome, Mary. Very, very nice. However we can support you. I appreciate it.
Were you here like 2 weeks ago when we talked about the company page LinkedIn event with the opt-in form?
No. Wait.
Okay, so we're
I'm
coming up on time.
What?
I'll give
Another
you
thing.
the 10-second version, and then shoot me a message if you want more info. But basically, if you organize an event from your LinkedIn company page, you can enable a lead gen form, like what you would see with paid ad. And what happens is somebody says yes, and you get their email, and you can download it as a CSV, and then you can, like, whatever you're using for event registration, you can just plug them in that way, because people are too lazy usually to follow through on their own and complete the registration process. So you can do it for them because they've opted in with one click. And
Okay.
there's also the ability to, like, they'll say yes or no to marketing emails. So regardless, you can send them emails related to the event. A small percentage will say yes to marketing emails. And then during the event, you can put like a trigger link so that they can opt into other voluntarily, like an email marketing voluntarily. I think
I'll put that on my to-do list to look into and figure it out.
You have so many connections that everybody that's going can invite 1,000 people.
Yep.
So take yourself plus 10 people that are micro influencers and have them all invite tons of folks, and that CSV is going to get fat.
Okay.
With a PH from the 90s.
Fat with a PH from the 90s. I like it. I'm definitely going to have to look into that. Thank you, Isaac. I just made a note down.
I have 1,001 followers, so I'll give you 1,000.
I love it. Thank you. Yeah, I do have a good following on LinkedIn and on social media and email marketing. You know, I've got a decent list. It's not huge. It's not about quantity on the email list. I keep taking people off. Like every 6 months we do that scrub because I don't want to pay. I'm already paying way too much, in my opinion, for an email list. But you know, yeah, thank you. And I'm open to any other ideas, suggestions. It's the first time. And the idea is to do this 3 times a year and bring on different LinkedIn experts, different copywriters, different branding people, because you do need to know how to write copy, right? Your posts, like you're talking about, Mike, like what kind of content, and they might be focused in the future. It could be just for financial, you know, that summit or masterclass will be for the financial realm, and that next one, maybe it's for speaker and coaches. So this is the first and what I hope to be, 3 times a year, bringing in new leads and introducing new ways to think about LinkedIn.
Awesome.
Very nice.
Awesome. Anybody else have any other events? Now's your time. Okay, cool. Well, I'm proud of you all for doing these things. Let us know how we can help you out, and we'll see you hopefully next week.